Hey, Lee.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can.
What's going on? How's the weather up there?
Flood. One one word. Flood. I mean, it's
Watching the news, it looks pretty extreme.
yeah. Well, Fort Bragg is it's a little unnerving because there's barring the logging roads, dirt logging roads. There's only two roads in and out of town, and one of them is completely closed by flooding, and the other one is extremely prone to mudslides. So everybody's kind of like stocking up. It's kind of that survivalist mentality. If on Highway 20, if the side of the road lets loose, we're like there's no in and out other than like fishing boats and helicopters.
Sounds like you better buy a boat.
Yeah. Exactly, or else be really, really good friends. So I'm like number one on the list of evacuation, right? But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's great. It's great to know, especially up in the Sierras, all that incredible snowpack. If nothing else, at least there won't be a water drought type situation this summer in NorCal.
I know it sounds pretty epic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hang on, I think John Connell's trying to call me. Let's see.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hey, Allison, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So, Allison, where are you now? Are you down in South America?
I am indeed.
Which is ironic because I've never heard a clearer voice connection. So, it just kind of shows you we are indeed international.
Okay.
Yes, the internet seems to be better in Buenos Aires than in Ojai.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
John Connell's joining us too. He's on my speakerphone.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, John.
Let's see who else we have here.
And is Davel with us yet? Yes. Hi, Davel.
Davel's with us. I see Gary is with us here too.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
The
sun is shining though.
I know it's starting to get a little dark down here. But anyway, I was thinking I could just get started if it feels like everybody's here. First of all, welcome to our call. I appreciate it. And the more I think about it, the more excited I am about what we're doing together and how all these calls are coming together where people kind of feel free to bring their ideas and the creativity towards starting this company. And I just want you to know I appreciate all of you guys participating with us today. I guess can everybody look at my screen? I posted our agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think what I'd like to do is just kind of go through our agenda. We kind of have a lot of stuff we want to cover, but basically I want to keep it down around an hour. But kind of we have a lot of things going on that we kind of need to talk about. I guess the first thing I also want to say is that I've been trying to become a better business leader and just a manager. And one of the things that I've been reading about continually is that you really, in order to have any successful enterprise, you really need to state your mission right up front before you even get started. And that's also one of the things I learned from Frederick's Bible study group they always start every meeting reiterating their mission, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to state that I think it's very important for us and for me going forward just to reiterate that we are starting a company that needs to be prosperous and profitable. And just lay that on the table to begin. And I also just kind of want to talk a little bit about how I kind of see these meetings going forward. And I really love the creative input, and on this call, you're definitely, a member of the team, and I really appreciate everybody's comments.
Hey, Chris, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know if anybody else is. A lot of kind of echoey feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be Gary.
That probably is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Oh, let's just mute Gary. I can't there. Is that better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
All right, Gary, I'll chime you in when it's your time to talk. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to introduce Gary. I had a great meeting with him in Irvine last week at a basketball tournament. And then I'm going to give Allison and Davo a little bit of time to talk about what they're doing on the website and the app and some of the design with that and what we want to do and where we are with our development. And then I want to talk a little bit about potential technology integration with you guys. When I was talking with Gary, we were talking about some live streaming solutions. And there is a company from Israel called Pixelot that makes an animated sports camera. And I talked with their sales rep, and they have a really interesting platform that I'd just like to share with you guys about how that works. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about the Rocky Mountain Nationals and what we are doing with them and what we should be getting ready to do with them. Basically, their big tournament is on March 15th and the 17th in Denver, and we need to be ready for that. Also, Derek Maste is the digital director, and he's integrating a new camera right now that we could use for a live video stream to like a Facebook account, a live single stream. And he and I have been talking about that. And then I'd just like to enter a call with a little bit about our new business projects with San Diego Elite Sports and Gary, and then talk a little bit about the Four Seasons. Brian DeMorris can't be on the call this morning, but he and I are going to talk later on this afternoon about his pitch to the Four Seasons next week and what we can potentially do for them. He sent me an email back that said, I'll show you something that Davo made, and for the Four Seasons that was scraping content from the YouTube site. But he said that apparently the Four Seasons right now has companies that they work with that scrape the internet for content. But one thing that he would be interested in talking about is a potential online concierge service, which could be, I think, kind of interesting, and I'd like to talk to you about that. Anyway, that's our agenda for today. And with that, I'd like to move on and introduce Gary. Hey, Gary, are you still there?
Oh, yes, I am, man. You know I'm here.
Okay, sorry, I had you on mute there for a second. So let me just talk to you a little bit about Gary. We were supposed to meet last week, and I was going to go down to San Diego to see him. And I'd scheduled my trip to go down there, and he texted me back the night before and said, listen, I just got a job refereeing a basketball tournament. Can you come and meet me in Irvine at this sports arena? And that was basically all the information that he gave me. And so we were going to meet at noon, and I went down there. And first of all, this place was huge, and it was packed with teams all coming in and out. And the teams were all really interesting, and they were all kind of these there were hundreds of teams, and they were all from In-N-Out Burger. And it was, Gary, maybe I'll let you kind of chime in here about what exactly the tournament was, but it was basically every In-N-Out chain has their own basketball team, and every basketball team competes one day a year at a tournament, and I happened to walk right in the middle of it. And it was absolutely crazy. There must have been over 100 teams there all competing.
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was bad basketball, really. Their day job, keep them burgers going, keep them fries looking good, them double doubles, them shakes, man. But this is one of they have a corporate basketball tournament that's co-ed, and what these teams do is they do a kind of a bonding experience with their employees, and so they give them have high standards for them. As in, when they come into this tournament, it's a co-ed tournament. They run about 4 of them a year. They run it in Walnut Creek area. They run it in Vegas, and they run it in Utah. And they've been doing this for about 10 years. And they get about 100 teams or so. And this is kind of a bonding experience that they have amongst each structure and the corporation itself. And I was kind of interested in it because I'm going like, wow, they're building a lot of strength and camaraderie in that way through sports. And so it was a good time for Chris to come down there and check that out because nobody's really filming that. Nobody's really being involved in that in the sports field. Yes, there's been a couple of live links that's only on the NCAA level, but for the youth and for the regular rec person, they don't get no exposure whatsoever. And I think a lot of them would enjoy having FanView be a part of that if it's presented right to these companies and to these businesses. And that's just the corporation. We haven't even talked about the youth sports, the adult sports, the softball leagues and flag football leagues and all this stuff that I do and other people do across the country, really across the world. And so that was very interesting. I'm glad Chris came. He was shocked. He was like, whoa, what's going on? I'm going like, Chris, if on the weekends, it's worse because there's so many games going on in Irvine and Anaheim and San Diego, screaming mamas and daddies, cussing us out all day. It'd be great to sit at home to look on the live link and not come to the gym and beat us up. You know what I mean? So we can you around, they can watch it on film and watch it at home. That will stop some of the animosity with some of the referees and the parents and the coaches.
All right. Thanks, Gary. It was great to see you at the meeting, and we have a lot to cover today in our meeting, but I thought you could at least introduce yourself a little bit about what your background is. Okay.
I'm a sports official for 25 years. I played basketball over in Greece and Germany for many of years. I also do a lot of anger management, working with kids, after-school programs, 6-to-6 programs. Been in the community working with, we do the Increase the Peace events where we're working with domestic violence, sex trafficking, anti-bullying. That's a big thing that we're doing around the schools right now. And so those are certain things that I do. So now I'm trying to do is start educational camps and academic camps. A lot of parents are sending their kids $500-$600 to these camps. They're just teaching these kids basketball, but they're not teaching them life skills. And so what I wanted to do with Chris is kind of develop something where we can do an educational academic camp, have FanView come in, and it could be linked with where people from all over the world can click on so they can get a blueprint on how to run a really good camp, how to get back to these kids, how to give them more life skills, how to give them more financial literacy, just an opportunity that we can connect with each other with hand in hand, where some other referees or some other sports people or other mentors or community leaders can get another perspective on how to do some things. So that's a little bit of my background. Right now we're working with T-Mobile. We're working with some big sponsors, some NBA guys, some NFL guys, some Major League Baseball guys, to WNBA girls. We're trying to reach out to them in that way through FanView. So that's a little bit about what I do.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with San Diego Elite Sports?
Well, San Diego Elite Sports is founded by James Shaw and Frank Gutierrez out here in San Diego, California. They have a developmental league. And what they found out was like, hey, why aren't we not using our high school kids to ref our little kids games so we can try to show them to be leaders, show them how to have working with other people, working on communication skill, working on body language. And it helps recondition of the mind because it's repetition. And so these high school kids has been in our developmental program, but these kids are from kindergarten all the way up to 7th and 8th grade. We have 500 kids that play on Sunday in our developmental league. And so it's called the Drive program. If Coach Frank was on, he can kind of explain a little bit more. But the Drive program, what it does is it's about integrity. It's about values. It's about doing the right things. And so with San Diego Elite Sports, I connected with him. We've been knowing each other for like almost 15 years. We connected together, and then all of a sudden we had these great ideas. So let's go ahead and blow this up. And so we're out there with San Diego Christian College. They're building a brand new facility for us. There's 3 major big courts. We have classroom. We have a full kitchen, so then we can show kids on nutrition or what they need to eat in the season or off the season. And then we also have tutors, because a lot of people don't go and play basketball. A lot of people don't play in NFL or NBA or anything like that, but you can always go to college. And so we're looking at trade schools, we're looking at NAIA schools, we're looking at smaller colleges where these kids can go to college and be a part of that. So that's the whole message and whole program that we're developing out here in Santee and in San Diego to kind of expand a little bit, Chris.
That sounds awesome. And you guys are affiliated with AAU?
Correct. We do have AAU. That's called the Future. And so we have San Diego Elite Sports Academy, and then San Diego Elite Sports Academy. That's a prep school academy. And then we have the Future, which is that's with AAU also.
Awesome. Well, we are definitely looking forward to talking with you more about this because I think it could be an awesome opportunity.
Real quick, Chris, let me just let them know also. Also, in the next couple of months, and this is why it's important, because we're doing unsigned senior girls and boys that haven't been picked up by colleges and they've never been seen. And so with that, what FanView can do is out there with coaches what they can't come to San Diego, they can click on and look at this kid and get more exposure. So that's what we want, more kids, more exposure. And FanView will be perfect for that, and that's in a couple of months. So we're trying to really roll up the reel to get that rolling.
All right. Well, I like to think you're in the right place at the right time.
I told you that first time I met you, man.
All right. Cool. Does anybody have any questions for Gary?
No, but this is Lee, Gary. That's I just want to say that's awesome. You know, on top of what we're doing technology-wise at FanView, there's definitely, I think all of our team has kind of a wellness, philosophy, and we want to make the world a better place. So it's really great what you're doing.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Gary, and welcome to our team. We'll look forward to talking with you more about these projects.
Right. And we got two more guys, Coach Frank and Coach James, and they can't be at it because they're working at the schools right now. They're in class. So they can't be on the call in the morning. So we probably have to do something in the afternoon, evening if everybody's available.
Okay, good.
All right.
Allison and Dalva, you guys ready to give us an update of the site?
Yes.
Should I transfer the screen to you, or do you just want to discuss it, what you're doing?
Darla's going to talk about the website, and then I'll share my screen and we'll talk about the app after that. Darla, you ready for sharing screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, stop sharing. You can just take it.
Okay, Darla, is your audio working okay?
Just a minute.
Yeah, I hear him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing echo again.
Can you mute Gary's?
Yeah, hang on, I'll mute Gary.
Poor Gary, we're blaming it on him. I don't know. Okay, Dhaval, take it away.
Yes. I'll keep it short when I'm showing the backend because it's only for the admin. But Chris, we have the multi-site ready where you can clone the site, the existing site, and make a copy of that and can change the content there. So you will see the list of sites here. You can take one and can clone it. So it will clone all the posts and all the grids and all. So we are using this /demo channel that is actually a site that you can use to copy it. And after it is copied, you can change content from the backend to like this 4 seasons that I have created using this copy, and I can change the logo. I can change the background. I can change the filters here that I'm just added dummy filters here, but that you can add. Filters are just the categories that how you want to explore grids, how you want to search the grids from the list of all grids. You can also define from the backend that what's the featured grid, okay, and recent grid would be displayed and 3 advertisements. Currently, it's just 3 placeholders I have created here. Once you go to your account, and this is all sales representative, sales admin can use that to create new grids.
So just to jump in for a sec, the high level explanation of what we're going through here is that what we have done, what Davel and team has done is complete the multi-site platform changes so that we can more effectively and rapidly deploy customized communities such as RMN, where we have different special data fields that we want dedicated to that specific group, and dedicated ads, and create its own little protected environment separated from the larger FanView, the regular FanView community where we'll have multiple channels. So this is rolling that out in a systemized way so that administrators, when we bring on a new paying client and we need to customize their experience, we can do that more effectively and at the system level.
Yeah, Allison, thank you for that, and that's like awesome. I mean, this is like a mega step from a market standpoint, and you know, Gary's commentary is very apropos to this, and maybe Davel's going to cover this, but per each clone site, is there kind of like an admin segment that behind the scenes that goes with that, you know, that kind of carries forward with that clone site, or is it currently that there's the master admin kind of looks across all the clone sites?
We can create admin per site. So if I create a user who is admin of 4 seasons only, then they will be able to manage everything, but for this site only.
That's great. Thank you, Davel.
Okay, Alison, do you want to take over to show the designs, app design?
I also wanted to point out that what we're looking at right here is the refined and improved way that admins, sales admins, can create grids. So the user experience is much more improved over what it was last week, and Davel and team have been working really hard on making this process of creating grids, whether it's from YouTube or from FanView, as smooth as possible. So we'll be rolling that out in a really useful way for the sales admins to be creating their own grids moving forward.
Yes, and Chris, I think you sent a list of all the news grids that you wanted to create, right? So I can create one news channel here. I mean, in order to show you how you can do it, I can create a new news site and can create some grids on CNN and Fox News, and can show you the screencast so that you can follow it to create new sites then.
That would be great. If you just get started and show me how to do it, I would be more than happy to come in and build the whole network.
Okay, sure.
How much longer do you think you're going to need in before you would feel comfortable letting us have that access to it on that level?
Its functionality is completed. Some minor things, but it's affecting design. It's still pending. So I would say you'll be, and also I need to create a screencast to show you how you can do that. So you will get it from next Monday for sure, with all the necessary material. I'll need a couple of days more to make it super stable.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice job, Davo. That this is looking really good.
Thanks.
So before we move on to the app, I want to just make sure that Davo gives us the update as far as stability for RMN. So we've been migrating to multi-site, and that process is complete, correct, Davo? And
Yes.
how does it affect like our rollout with RMN and promotion? And when do you feel super confident that we can handle increased traffic on that site? Are we ready now, or when is it?
Yeah, I would say Monday, next Monday, because there's few things that I'll need to make stable on the site, on the design itself. We are not making a lot of changes on RMN, so it is stable, but the development that is going in parallel for the multi-site, it's affecting on the main RMN site as well. So I would say we are ready to promote from next Monday. Meanwhile, I'll make sure that everything works good. And I need to remove some of the grids that's still there from the some of the deleted YouTube channels. So I'll need to remove that. And I'm Chris, if you can send me the list of all the events that you want me to create on RMN site. Last time we discussed that we'll have a list of all the events, or I can simply create all the events, Cosmic Clash, Freak Show, and RMN Nationals from 2017. Is that correct? For each one?
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about that, you guys. This brings up a good point because you know, RMN is they're a test client for us kind of now, and we're at this point where, you know, do we put a lot of effort into making their website really robust, or do we basically put our energy into making the app work, which can be released, you know, in later, maybe in a month or two? And it's something that I'm thinking that if it came down to it, Davo, it might make more sense for you to be focusing on the app than RMN specifically right now. Well, here's one of the things I've been kind of thinking about RMN is that at the end of the season, we could have we'll have our app up and running, and we could basically invite people to upload all of their favorite content from the entire season into our app. And, you know, that might be a very effective way for us to start to get content, is to promote, you know, not just from the last event, but your best video from the entire season. And I'm thinking, so when we approach RMN, it's not necessarily what we can do for them right now and how we can make, you know, their app function as best as it can right now, but how do we prepare for kind of the end of the season when we're going to have a more robust rollout? And we're kind of weighing the pros and cons, I guess, to both sides. But I think, Davo, if it came down to you working on the app or inputting all the tournaments from the last 2 years into the website, I think it's going to be a better use of time for you to focus on the app. What do you think?
Okay, sure, right. It does make sense to have all the events there when we are promoting and asking users to upload more videos to those events. Mm-hmm. So you're right, and it is super easy now to create new categories and filters so that we can create those events anytime from the back end. It doesn't require any development there. Because it's already integrated as with the user interface backend. Okay, so to answer Allison's question, yes, we are ready, but I'll still need a couple of more days, and you are that is okay to promote the site and give the links to users, public users from Monday.
Okay, excellent.
Chris, one question. One of the big goals of the app is in order to allow us to upload videos at a faster rate rather than the uncompressed way that's going on right now, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, so since we want that dynamic content, the app in the end is the most important thing. of the two, of the RMN right now, what their site's like, and then what the app is. Yeah, I'd focus on the app, because in the end, it's about the content and getting it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is a question for Allison or Davel, but in the development of the app, I mean, I want to go back, the multi-site stuff, I just think is huge from a sales standpoint. Is the app going to kind of carry that multi-site admin forward, or is the mission of the app, so to speak, you know, the user experience at the event, and then sort of the admin, whether it's a sales admin or customer admin, is always going to be through like the web dashboard?
Yes. Currently, we're planning for all administrator and sales admin functions to be, you need to go to the website to do that. However, as a user, so say a sales admin uses their computer, creates grids in preparation for a pitch, they can share that channel that they created with their potential client prior to the meeting or during the meeting, and that client can log in using their phone or their computer to view the experience and use it as a user would. So, for example, in the app, we are going to be able to use the FanView app to browse grids, upload videos, manage your videos and images in your account in FanView using your phone, and also be able to create grids as well as browse them. So anything an end user would want to do, they're going to be able to do it from their phone in the app.
Yeah, no, thanks. That makes total sense, and it's nice because it eliminates the need to try and like develop the admin both in the app and you know, the web version at the same time. So that's a great strategy, and that answers the question. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, this app would act as a web client where it is receiving content, and we can upload content. You can see that this is Four Seasons site. This is one of the site from the multi-site, and this is RMN, that is also one site from the multi-site. But this too would be presented in the app as two different channels. There is no word-like sites there. These are two different channels that you can browse grids and site from the single platform. All the data from in the app would be pulled from database what we have on web. So there is a centralized database that will serve the needs of website and app both.
Sure. Yeah. No, that architecturally sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. So are we ready for a little preview of the app? I don't have a demo, but I do have some screens, rough screens, like a prototype. So I can go ahead and share those. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Okay, so Davel, can you stop sharing?
Yeah, I just stopped it. Yes,
Okay.
I did that.
Thank you. Okay, so the screens that we're going to look at, you should look at these as rough prototypes. They are not designed yet. They're sort of realistic prototypes, and not all the screens are designed. We're still working on both functionality and planning, but we are starting to flesh out what needs to be on each screen. So I'm using a design tool called Adobe XD to do the prototype.
Alison,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing your screen yet.
Okay. Does anybody else see the screen?
No.
It says share screen. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so this is the home screen that you would see. And again, this is not designed yet. This is just sort of a rough mock-up of what we have in mind, and then it's going to be refined and get a lot more designed before the end. So we plan to have a walkthrough here where you can see a little bit of a preview and some basic information if you want on how to use the app, but really it's pretty intuitive. So when the user gets started, they can view that walkthrough, or they can sign in, or they can sign up. So this is just some basic screens that will be.
Hey, Allison, can I stop you there on the sign up page? Are we going to be able to have like a Facebook sign in or a Google sign in capabilities?
We certainly can. It's a question of what we're going to be able to achieve within the budget.
Okay.
So that is not planned for the initial phase, but Dhaval, how hard is it to have like sign up with your Google account or sign up with your Facebook account?
Yes, it's not that difficult. We can utilize a single sign-on functionality and can integrate that easily. I'll check it again that if it is affecting the total estimation what we have there. But
Okay.
that should not be a problem, what I see it from here.
Okay, can you make a note of that has been requested?
Sure, I'm adding a note.
Okay, and what do we want? Do we want Google and Facebook?
I think so. Those two are the easiest. It's much easier to sign on to a website if they, you know.
You're one of those people that do that?
Yes, I do that.
That way, if one thing gets hacked, they all get hacked.
Yeah.
It's like it makes it much simpler.
But also, I mean, if you think about it, if we want to be integrated with Facebook and Instagram for posting, maybe having people upload their stuff that are, you know, registered with that, you would already have that in their account information when they go to upload as well.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't do it personally. I never use that stuff personally. It's kind of like using a password that just says password. Yeah,
What's wrong with that?
You're waiting for trouble.
It's so much easier. All right. I'm sorry, Allison. Keep on going.
Okay. I just want to make a little note.
Hey, can I ask you a design question? I notice we're sticking with the kind of the black and white and red, and I know that's easier. But is that design choice that we should be considering throughout that we're just going to stick with? I just want to know what your thoughts about that are.
That's a branding consideration.
As our designer.
So I would say that
oh, sorry.
yes, it's an appropriate choice, and the logo is strong.
Yeah.
So
if those are the colors for the company, if those are the company colors, then stick with them for all the initials.
Yeah.
It'll feel out of place if you start changing colors for this, that, or the other. You won't feel like you're in the same locale.
Okay.
You can always change or give them the option of doing a light color something later in the future, but to keep that brand strong, keep it the same so that when they're on the app, it looks like what the website looks like.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So once we are logged in, then, oops. Sorry. So once we're logged in, we're envisioning a homepage that looks something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Second one So we have trending channels. Now keep in mind, we're not in RMN FanView right now.
Yeah.
We're in the generic version of FanView. And so you can switch channels. So you could go to RMN, you could go to Four Seasons, you could go to CNN. This is all envisioned as far as what is public. If we're logged in and we have access to additional channels, such as a sales admin shared a password, we should be able to see that channel as well. You can swipe left and right to see all the channels that are available. You can click view all to see them, and then they would be in a list that you could view all of them and slide through those. So here we were thinking of top grids. Now we are talking about having grids be able to have titles. So this is something we think is important in the coming up. So Dhaval, when is that on the schedule to be implemented in the main site? Are we going to do it when we do this app? Is that when we're going to do it in the site as well?
Which thing?
The implementing titles for grids.
We already have that.
Oh, for the grid, not the videos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For the grids, we have that.
Okay, great. So we're showing the grid title here. That's what our current idea is. And then you can view all or scroll through.
Good.
Now, if you tap on the RMN channel, you would go to this third screen here. And basically we have some overview information and the background image up at the top, and then featured grid and viewing all of the grids from there. I have this idea of how are we going to represent or display grids, and right now I'm playing with the idea that if it's a grid, it has a little grid symbol in the corner overlaying the main featured image.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
I think that's a good idea.
Just an idea I'm playing with right now. And this design is sort of iterative. So we're, exploring ideas and looking at them right now. So the idea of likes and shares being visible at this level, when you're at that top level, is cool to give you some sense of relative popularity. And then recent videos and photos, you can see that these are not grids, these are individual photos and videos. And you would be able to swipe right, left to view more. Okay. Now, this is what we have here. These two screen views are describing how you can view a grid. So right now, we have this idea that we're going to be able to view the grids either in the grid itself, which would be currently three columns across, and an unlimited number of rows, which you can, if we're in that grid view of the grid, we can see smaller thumbnails. And we could scroll down to see more roles. So we would do it that way. But there's another view, which would be list view, which basically shows you more information, but only one video at a time. And in that view, you can either be scrolling right or left to go from column to column, or you can scroll up and down to view more rows.
That's pretty sweet, Allison. It's like a double grid view. I mean, you have zoomed in and kind of out a little bit. I think that's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice job.
Okay. And then we'll be able to share individual videos as well as grids. And then in this area, we have what happens if you click the upload button. If you click the upload button, it's going to go to your device's library. So you can choose from the library, or you can take a photo, so it's the camera, or you can take a video with your camera. So very simple interface to allow you to choose from your library, to choose use your camera, or to choose to use your video camera. And of course, this is just the beginning. I mean, we have a lot of screens that we need to go into detail on, and we're still capturing that, but we're getting the main functionality captured here while we capture individual specific requirements and details that are relating to the function of the app and the back-end structure of that web service that needs to provide the data link to our website. This is I don't know who's we just get a little background noise. So if you notice that your area is kind of noisy, please mute yourself while it's noisy, unless you need to speak. For uploading video and photos, we want to have a kind of a cute little button there. That's basically our logo button.
Yeah, that's a good use of it too. That's a good idea.
Little detail. So as we move along.
Hey, Allison, can I stop you right there?
Yep.
What are your thoughts about live video streaming? We're probably not there yet, but eventually, what if you hit live and you could send a stream right up to live stream straight up to FanView?
You need the back end to allow that.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother section. Just like it took YouTube a little while to make it, but yeah, it's a different type of video. Obviously it's doable, but that's got a whole different setup.
But I think version 3 or 4, we might want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And Dhaval's going to be speaking to that as well when we get through this phase.
Okay.
So we've already done research around that functionality and how we can support it, but we're not focusing on that right now.
Perfect. Good.
Okay, and then we're also working on a different interface for a phone-friendly interface for how we offer the tags.
Mm-hmm.
In the different, and this is an area where we could end up going out of scope and blowing the budget completely. Because it's complicated to make a customized user interface for RMN while still maintaining the different user interface and functionality for the generic version of the FanView channels.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we need to do, because we can't, when you build an app, there's certain functionality that you would have to resubmit your app in the store to make changes. Some things we can retain from the website. We can change ads, for example, from settings within our website without having to resubmit an app. Mm-hmm. So data can be swapped out, but how does the user interface with our app, and what buttons do they see within their app? That's something that needs to be hard-coded within the app in general. And so what I've tasked Dhaval to do in this first iteration is we need to have a good experience for RMN, and we need to have a great experience for RMN, and we need to have a great experience for users of the generic, I'm calling it generic, it's of the version of FanView that doesn't have all those additional filters for wrestlers and divisions and teams. Mm-hmm. Now, he and I still need to talk about this, but we need to control the scope while he has this ability added within the site now to allow us to create customized filters for each one of the new channels, we have to explore how we're going to implement that within the app, and if it's really going to be feasible to do it within this first version, or is it going to have to be changed for future customized versions of FanView.
I would say one thing is developing for mobile. You want to try and make it so the app is standalone as much as possible, and not where you would have to customize additional parts for every other possible client within the app. That backend stuff is going to need to, you want to load that to the web side, to the dynamic data side. Otherwise, as the clientele base grows, the app on its own is going to get overly large and overly complicated. As if you have to keep doing custom stuff for every person, every client within that app, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's a long-standing idea, and it won't have legs in the future. You want to go on.
The idea here is, when you see on the video screen, wrestlers, divisions, and teams. So that is specific to RMN. So now this wrestler, division, teams, we are not going to have it hard-coded there. This part is completely dynamic. So
exactly,
it will see, it will see that what's the channel it is. If it is not RMN, if it is something else, and if it has the filters specific to that one, then it will show those filters. And it's possible that for some of the clients, we don't provide the pre-made tags. They only have this white area where they can add their own custom tags. In that case, we will not show this filters there. So design would be considering that part, that we must not hard code this filters inside the app, because rebuild, it would be very difficult to resubmit it if this is here, and if any other urgent client comes up and he wants other filters, then we cannot wait for resubmission. We have to have it managed from the website. Or from the site.
Okay. So basically, you'll make the hooks so that, all right, if you have these different sections, wrestler, divisions, teams, it'll have the hook in the app, which is all you need, and then it goes out and populates it with whatever is coming from the database, the web database. Same thing for the other section.
Correct.
That's the right way. So coding it so it'll grab that information dynamically. So everyone will be able to use it. Everyone will have just their different information, their different content as you go to each channel. Yeah, that's the right way. Hard coding anything specific for each client, it would be a nightmare. Yes. And even if you had a 24-hour turnaround at Apple, it's still, no matter what, you're going to run into clients that are changing things on a daily basis. And
So can I ask you guys just a quick question here? This service where we add in the custom tags for people who are, you're basically our client, come in and put in all the registration information. Would that be a custom feature we could offer to customers as an upgrade?
I think it should be.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a cool part of our package, is that we kind of we can migrate and keep adding on more bells and whistles. Anyway, keep on going. This looks really good.
Yeah, and especially this interface is not how I want to do this. We're just trying to capture all the things that need to be on the screen. This is not exactly how it's going to look, for sure. On this one especially, it needs to be really easy to tag, and suggested tags need to be visible and easy to type in without a lot of tapping. So that's an area that will be giving some attention to. Now for RMN in particular, it's a wonderful test case because we have a lot of data that we want to automatically add when, for example, a wrestler is added to a particular video or image. You want to be able to easily add multiple wrestlers. You want to probably assume what the event is. You want to add all these tags. So it's the event, the wrestler, the division, the team. A lot of stuff can be either guessed or assumed based on what they choose. And so when we get into that kind of a scenario for an individual client channel such as this, you do get into more of a customized data structure where you have groups of tags that are auto-assigned based on an individual choice by a user. And so figuring out how do we make that work on the back end so that it's easier to do, to roll out that feature for paid future larger clients. That's something we're still working on. And it's wonderful to have RMN as a test case to get our heads around, well, what does this actually mean? And how would it differ from, say, a hotel group? You know, well, how would that be different? So this is just a side note of what we're talking about and figuring out exactly what you guys were talking about, which is, you know, how do we code the app to anticipate different data structures and client needs and be able to support that in a way that doesn't require a lot of customization for individual clients walking in. At the same time, it's crazy and difficult to anticipate how different clients are going to want different things until you talk to a lot of them and get into the nitty-gritty of what would be useful to them. So there's this balance between what we can build now and what we think we should be building and what we're going to actually need in the future. So I'm weighing all of that, trying to make the app experience as good as we possibly can for our current users of the different types that we know about. So we know about RMN pretty well. We can anticipate what they might need. We're thinking a lot about other kinds of channels and what they might be interested in. And we're also thinking about specific enhancements of where we could go with the platform in the future. So obviously, you know, it's our job as designing the architecture of this app and website to be flexible and hold it, and also to know that we've got limited resources and we want to get to market as quickly as possible with something that's really useful right now. So that's where we're at. We're getting through the details of all of that process.
You're doing great, Allison. You do have a lot on your plate, but I think you're balancing it well.
Yeah, and Allison and Davil, one request I'd make and totally rely on your judgment is, you know, as you're developing these web services behind the scenes to the, you know, to the endpoints in the app and the endpoints in the admin, you know, at some point in time, hopefully we'll be selling, you know, to the NBA or whatever, who's already got their app, and you know we're going to be selling an integration. We're already talking about integration, so you know, to the degree possible, you know, do abstract those web services with the end game of, you know, an SDK and a set of, you know, REST JSON APIs that people would be familiar with. That'll, you know, be another asset that can come out of this development. Understand the whole scope thing, but I just want you guys to keep that, you know, in mind as possible.
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
And we've done that before.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we're familiar with that. In the past, Davil and I worked on a startup called MobiGirl Media, which was a mobile ad network for apps. So we created SDK and developed that whole process. So we're familiar with rolling that out, and definitely can do it when the time comes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, this is what I have to show so far. And one more screen. There will be an area where the user can manage their videos and photos within FanView. So this isn't on their device. This is actually the videos and photos that they have uploaded to FanView. So they'll be able to manage that from their phone as well, if they want to remove something, say.
Great. Nice work.
Okay, and then there's still a lot more that's coming, but it's just, you know, a process. So we're in the design phase.
All right.
All right.
Any questions? Cool. I'll tell you what, let's just give me back the screen and I will.
Well, that was really interesting. That's really interesting, you guys. A lot. I'm just glad that I wasn't blamed for having the background noise since I've been muted all this time. I got to eat breakfast, cook my food, everything this morning, man. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, good. Hey, we just have a couple more things we have to go over here today before I get you guys out here. By the way, really nice job, Allison and Davil. It looks great, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. One thing that Gary and I had talked about was creating a streaming solution for their gym that could be as automated as possible. And there's a company that, can you see my screen, Mike? Did I share it?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, sorry.
I can see you. There's your screen.
All right. So I did a little bit of research, and I've been introduced to this company before, but I decided to call them and just see if these cameras would be applicable, what they could do for like an amateur basketball league, and they're really cool. Basically, it's these units right here, and it has, I think, 4 lenses, and you put it in the middle of the court, and it automatically tracks the basketball players going from side to side, and then will break down the videos or the highlights based on the shots. And right now they work on basketball and soccer, but they're expanding into other sports. They're kind of cool. And I'll send you the link here, but one of they cost about $5,500 for the unit, and then $3,000 a year for the license. So they're not cheap, but they could be a really cool solution for the San Diego Elite Sports to think about. And I'll talk to Gary about this and his team. But one of the things that I learned was that when they make the highlights from this, using this machine, right now it's kind of a blind asset because it only records like there's a basketball shot. It doesn't record any of the information about it. And it made me think that, you know, the technology is getting there, but it's not quite there yet. And as entrepreneurs, we kind of have to think about where the technology is right now and where it's going and kind of how we fit in with that. And to make a long story really short, where I think that the opportunity for us is that, you know, if there's companies like this that are breaking down the content, and by the way, these guys do a lot of business. They are affiliated with a lot of high school teams as the exclusive supplier. So there's a lot of schools using these things, but there's still no real link to an app that takes the data that is generated by the league for all the players and connects that with the video. And I was thinking that might be an opportunity for us to start to think about for FanView. And I made a sample of a little bit of a database here. And I guess, Gary, are you still with us?
He's muted.
I just muted myself.
Oh, you're back. Well, I kind of want to wrap up our meeting here, and I'll talk to you guys about this a little bit later. But one of the things that really made me think about was, you know, your basketball league not only has all the video and manages the games, but there's also all the data that you guys generate as well. And that's an asset for you at the end of the day. that I think is going to become more and more valuable over time, and especially the data sets about that. I mean, think about it. For all the data you generate athlete data, that's the name, jersey number, athlete ID, name, team name, and date of birth. Then you also have the event data, which is the name, the location, and the date. Then you also have the scoring data. And so for every player, you're going to know exactly how many points, assists, field goals, whatever is generated. And basically what you do is you create what's called a data set, where you'll put all this information into a database, and then we can use that information in conjunction with video to start to create automated grids. That's always been kind of a dream of mine. And I guess if we're going to talk later, Gary, it's about this potential project with, let's say, an automated video cameras, like filming your events. It's not only the video, but the data as well that I think is going to be very, very important, and how we combine those two into kind of the next generation of user experiences. This kind of the Wild West out there. And that's where I think see an opportunity for us as a company with FanView to, I guess, build applications. I realized that was kind of abstract, but I just wanted to share my thoughts with you about that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I like that because, you know, with data going right there, and I was telling Chris, with that's a good feel for you guys, because right now, like for NFL with concussion protocol, the NBA with kids playing so many games and stuff, this is a way they can get to track it. And nobody's really doing that, especially with basketball, baseball, and other different sports. They're kind of dipping in just a little bit in football, but not enough data. So if we can translate that where they have body suits that's connected with that can give out data to the computers, or we can put something on there on the uniforms to collect that data, then you can really see from a kindergartners or from first grade all the way up in what sports, and really like soccer. People understand soccer is one of the biggest sports that give concussions, and people don't even understand that yet. You know what I mean? So if we can kind of figure that out with that device that you're talking about there that can record the cameras and record the data, that data is important. Then we can take it somewhere else to Congress and everything else. So I'll get off the phone real quick.
No, that's great. But Gary, I'll talk to you about this a little bit later, but our rep is named Jonathan, and the poor guy, I cannot pronounce his name, Wakinek, I guess, is our sales rep. And one of the things I was thinking about is I want to introduce him to you, Gary, and you guys can talk about, you know, if this is something that you're interested in pursuing. And but I have that introduction for you that we can make. I was also thinking you might be cool to come in to talk to our team. He's a sales rep, and there's other projects like for John Connell. Are you still there? He might not be there, but for UCSB.
No, I'm here. I was also on mute.
You were also on mute. I mean, these cameras could be great for UCSB as well. And I was thinking about maybe inviting Jonathan to kind of introduce you what he does to our team, because there's a lot of different projects we're kind of involved with that they could use that sort of stuff.
Agreed.
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out to you, and that's something that we're working on right now. And I guess, Gary, I'll talk to you about that as well later on, okay? And then let's see, the next thing is the RMN tournament. Is that next one I want us to participate in with them will be the Rocky Mountain Nationals. This is their big tournament. It's going to be March 15th, 16th, and 17th in Colorado. There'll probably be, I'm guessing between 1,500 and 2,500 athletes at this thing. And basically, this is their highest event, because if you're a champion of this event, you basically are kind of ranked on RMN as being the best wrestler for your division. And they have this really cool, how they do the championships matches is that they have a center ring and with a spotlight on it. And so it's kind of like for the championship matches, all the lights go down, and they Ed announces all the events live into the microphone, and it's pretty cool. So I guess my question for you, Dhaval, and we can kind of talk about this, is what would we have ready by for RMN by the tournament? It's actually two tournaments. One is the RMN Nationals, and the other one is called the Duels, which is, I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but it's like three tournaments all going on at the same time: folk style, freestyle, and the Duels.
What's the date?
March 15th, 16th, and 17th. And I'm not expecting you to give me an answer right now, but I just kind of want you to think about that. It's basically, we have 3 weeks. And, you know, even if we just go to those guys with maybe the updated team area and the landing page, that would be great. One of the cool things about RMN is we consider them to be our partner. And so we do have a little bit of flexibility in how we work with them. We do not have to hit it out of the ballpark on day one. And in fact, it'd be even better if, you know, we do it rather gradually, kind of hand in hand. But I think it'd be kind of cool for that event if we kind of go live again and promote it. And I will fly out there, by the way, and hand out stickers and be shooting content myself.
Okay.
Where's that located
Just see, that's about it. I'll also be talking. I'm going to connect with Derek. He just bought a new camera, and we need to connect buying a 35 millimeter with a video out, and we need to basically configure it to be able to send a live stream into our AWS account. And Dhaval, I'll be talking. I think we have to buy an encoder for that. There's a Teradek model, and I might send you a link to take a look at that. But that's something that we're working on with Derek. Okay. He just sold his motorcycle to buy the camera, so he's very excited about it. Any other questions about RMN? I mean, it sounds like, I think we all know what we need to do with them, and okay.
Yeah.
All right, San Diego Elite Sports. Gary, you know what? You want to have a call later on in the week with Frank?
Yes, with Coach Frank and with Coach Shaw. Yeah, anytime is good for us. I know Frank just hit me back. He couldn't get on for some reason. He said in the mornings would be great if we could. Like this time would be perfect. Anytime is perfect.
Allison, I'm kind of thinking that you and I should be on that call. So what's your schedule like, Allison? Are you around this week? Are you available?
Tomorrow, well, it depends on what time. So what time were you thinking?
Same time, like right now, what we did started at 10.
That would be, I have to move locations tomorrow. Like, I'm moving from one apartment to another from where I'm staying. It's not a big deal, but right at that moment, I'm not available.
No, we're talking about maybe the weekend or after next week or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about tomorrow or something.
Oh, no, you got to move. You got things to do.
Generally that time is great for me.
All right. So Chris, just set up any time is good for us. Just let me know, send me a text, and then I'll hit it to Frank, and then we'll get on the call. Everything that you guys explained with FanView is awesome. I would love to connect with the person that's doing the wrestling, who's in charge of that. I would love to come down there and see that event, because a lot of things that they're doing is kind of what we're doing, and it crosshairs a lot. So that's an awesome presentation that you guys provided. I've been through a lot of meetings with Technosis, and you guys were the easiest one to work with.
Well, thanks, Gary.
Like 2 years, man. It's crazy.
What do you think about Friday? Do you think that'd work for you?
Absolutely. I'll hit Coach Frank up in a little bit after we get off the phone. I'll hit him up, and then we can just go from there. But that
listen, does Friday should work for you?
Yes.
All right, we'll just plan on Friday. That's great. Okay, cool. The last thing I need to talk to you guys about is the Four Seasons and using our technology to create an automated concierge service. I'll talk to Brian about that today, but let's kind of think about if there's any opportunities out there. I'll kind of feel them out, and his meeting with them is going to be pretty loose. It's a pre-existing customer of his that he has a relationship with, and they're just kind of talking. But if anybody has any ideas about how we can apply what we do to a concierge service, let me know. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys including me in your call. It's very interesting. It's very, I love to hear dialogue. I love to hear when people are getting communication and talking about information. That's what it's about, giving out some resources and information. I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys on Friday. The rest of the team, thank you guys so much for your patience and opportunity to let me listen in. And you guys take care and God bless.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks, Gary. Anybody else? All right, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys all joining us today. This was awesome, and I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Thank you. Bye.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff, Chris.
Bye, everyone.
All right, bye. Talk to you guys later.